Okay, so we're going to work on a word problem that uses factoring, and there's other ways that you could solve this, but we're going to go with the approach of factoring. So, the height of a model rocket is given in centimeters by the formula h equals negative 490 t squared. It's a little hard to see that. Let me write it here. H equals negative 490 t squared. All right. Where t is measured in seconds, so t equals time in seconds, okay? And h equals 0 reverts to its original height at the top of the mountain. So h, let me do this, h equals 0, original height at top of mountain. Okay. It begins to fly down. So I'm going to draw a picture because it helps me to understand. So here's my mountain. Let me put it over here. Here's my mountain, and this airplane begins to fly down. Okay? From the mountaintop at a time of t equals 0. So the moment it begins, my time is equal to 0. So when it begins, my time is equal to 0. When has the rocket descended to 490 centimeters? Okay, so it begins at 0. When it gets to 490 centimeters. So we're going to look at 490 centimeters. Okay, so where's my height? And let me highlight this in red. 490 centimeters. Okay, so 490 equals negative 490 t squared. Okay? Very good. We are going to then subtract this. And actually, it's descended, right? So it's going to be negative 490. Now, using the addition property of equality, we get 0 equals negative 490 t squared plus 490. Okay, very good. 0. What do these two have in common? Do I have a common factor? Yeah, it's 490. And I'm going to take out the negative because I don't like negatives. And that's going to leave me with t squared. Negative 490 times what gives me positive 490? Minus 1. Okay? Now, I want to get this alone. So this is in parentheses. I'm going to go ahead and use division property of equality. That gives me 0 equals t squared minus 1. Okay, so let's go ahead and factor this out. We're ready to go. T, what gives me negative 1? Okay, let's see, plus 1, minus 1. It's only two terms, so the middle term, that's t to the 1 power, should cancel out. Let's see. We get 1t, negative 1t, 0. Perfect. Those are my two solutions. Now, when has the rocket descended at 490? Okay. Well, t plus 1 equals 0. T equals negative 1. When I use subtraction property of equality, that cancels out. T equals negative 1. That's one possible solution. The other possible solution is t minus 1 equals 0. If I add 1 to both sides, addition property of equality, t equals 1. Now, time, unless you've invented a time machine I don't know about, and I'd be curious to see it, time, we don't go backwards. So the only possible solution is 1 second. So at 1 second, that rocket descends 490 feet, which is kind of cool. So that is it. 1 second. 1 second. Bada bing, bada boom. And that's it.